Welcome to the Produce on Purpose podcast, where we explore experiencing life being the real you. I'm your host, Randy Atkins Jr., author, teacher, speaker, preacher, and lifelong learner. Life has a way of throwing unexpected challenges our way, from personal setbacks to global crises, yet at the core of our being, we possess an innate ability to adapt, rebound, and thrive. It's an incredible superpower that resides within you. It's called resilience. In this inspiring episode, your power for thriving through life's storms will show you how to harness this superpower. So join me as we uncover the secrets to not only weathering life's storms, but how to emerge from them stronger and wiser. We're going to start off with our dad joke. And our dad joke today is, why did the computer keep freezing during the resilience workshop? It had too many bugs in its mindset. Continue to share this information with someone. I believe that happiness and laughter is good for our souls. This episode is your superpower for thriving through life's storms. We're going to start off with a scripture. It's coming from Genesis, the 50th chapter, beginning at verse 20. And it says, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." In Genesis 50th chapter and the 20th verse, we find a powerful example of someone overcoming adversity in the Bible. It is the part of the story that we know as Joseph. He had been betrayed by his brothers. He had been enslaved and imprisoned, and he had gone through hardship, including he had many difficult challenges throughout his life. Joseph maintained his faith and resilience from being put into slavery to actually moving up in Potiphar's house and then being accused of rape from his wife, and then being put in prison, and then sharing a great dream with the person, the baker in the house, and told him to remember him, but he didn't. And it took many years before he got in front of Pharaoh and was able to help Pharaoh. And because of that, he was then pushed to a different position in Egypt. He ended up being the number 2 person in Egypt because of that. But it was only because of his faith and his resilience. So this scripture reflects forgiveness and the perspective on his trials, acknowledging that while others meant to harm him, God used those circumstances for a greater purpose, saving many lives through Joseph's role in Egypt. That same kind of thing happens in our lives. We are sometimes fraught in having adversity in all that we do. But that adversity can be a stepping stone to a higher purpose in your life. And this emphasizes an idea that even when facing seemingly insurmountable challenges, there may be a divine plan at work in your life, just like it was in Joseph's life. We understand that in Joseph's life, he has a profound example of resilience in the face of adversity, and highlighting that it is also a transformative experience and a power of faith and the ability to not only overcome challenges, but also to contribute positively to the lives of others. So I want to start this episode off by starting with number 1, talking about the nature of resilience. Resilience is that remarkable ability to bounce back, to adapt to something that goes on, and even thrive in the face of adversity, challenges, or setbacks. It's like having a strong and flexible inner core that helps you to withstand storms of life without breaking. I want you to imagine a tree that's standing tall in the forest. One day, a powerful storm with fierce winds and heavy rain seeps through the area. While some of the weaker trees might snap and get uprooted by the force of the storm, this tree is a young tree. It has a flexible trunk and deep roots. It sways and it bends, but remains firmly anchored in the ground. After the storm, this young tree might have lost a few leaves or small branches, but what is it doing? It is still standing strong. Over time, it grows even taller and more resilient because it has learned to adapt to challenging conditions. Similarly, in our lives, we have resilience, and it's a quality that allows each of us to weather storms of setbacks, of losses, of difficulties, of problems, and adversity in our lives. It doesn't mean that you won't face challenges in life. Instead, it just means that you have that inner strength, that adaptability to face them, learn from them, and continue to grow. Resilient people often find ways to turn adversity into opportunity for personal growth and positive change. I believe you have that. I believe you have that within inside of you. And every one of us has that as a part of our lives, that we have that nature of resilience that is a part of who we are. So for this first point, I want you to get out a journal, and I want you to call this your resilience journal. And I want you to write down every single time that you experience some type of challenge or adversity. And I want you to write down how you are feeling about those challenges and adversities at the moment that you have them. And make sure you put it all down there. And then as the days go by, anytime you have any additional challenge, adversity, issue, problem, put it in that journal. But the thing that I want you to do is definitely when you go back into your journal and you read and you overcome an adversity or a confrontation or an issue, I want you to write down the resolution and how you feel now that it's been resolved. Because I bet one of the things that you will find as you continue to write down in this journal and as you keep this journal and you apply this to your life is that you are becoming stronger. And it's important because with these types of reminders in our lives, we can then look back and see. Sometimes we forget all of the good things that have happened in our lives and the things that we have overcome. Many times we forget how much we have grown. But I want you to tap into that resilience that you have, that innate ability for you to overcome any obstacle that's in your life. So that's your resilience journal. I want you to do from that first point that we talked about the nature of resilience. And remember that young tree. You're like that young tree, and you're going to deeply root yourself in these things that I'm going to talk about for the second part. Here's some of the building blocks for resilience. The fundamental elements for resilience is that it is an innate trait that everyone has within them. You just have to cultivate it over time. And so here's what I want you to think about. Here are the building blocks. Here's the first one: optimism. What does optimism mean? It involves maintaining a positive outlook, even in the face of adversity. Resilient individuals tend to see challenges as only temporary and believe that they are and can be overcome by them. You can overcome any issue. It's only temporary. They focus on solutions rather than dwelling on the problems. I want you in every situation to focus on the solutions and not the problem. I want you to be optimistic about the positive outlook of what's going to happen. That's the first building block. The second building block I want you to think about and make sure you have is adaptability. This is your ability to adjust and to thrive in changing circumstances. This means that you can adapt, you can change, you can adjust. So you are open to new ways of thinking and problem solving. Sometimes we have to take a step back for adaptability to really sink in. If you are in a place where you can begin to look at your situations in multiple ways, then you're going to have adaptability. Here's the third building block: self-belief or self-efficacy. In this building block, you have confidence that you have the ability to handle the challenges. Resilient individuals like you are strong. They have a sense of self-belief, which empowers them to take action and persevere in the face of difficulties. You have to believe that you can do this. You have to believe that you can get through this. And here's our fourth building block, which you're going to need in order to be very resilient. This is your support systems. This is your network of friends, family, mentors. I'm going to also put in there professional therapist, pastoral counseling. These are some emotional support and guidance in this crucial part of being resilient. You have to have a tribe. You have to have a village that is surrounding you. It is not good for you to try to do this all alone. In fact, in the Bible, God explained it this way. He said, it's not good for man to be alone. And that's when he created Eve. And I believe it's for all of us. All of us are meant to have relationships. And I'm going to encourage you to find those relationships, even if you've got to find professionals initially to help you. You want that network of friends, family, mentors, because these relationships will be your safety net during tough times. And they offer you a different perspective and oftentimes encouragement. Everyone needs encouragement. I don't care if you are a leader or if you are a follower or whatever you are doing in your life. We all can use encouragement. And if you are resilient, you're going to have this as one of your building blocks of being resilient. Sometimes we are going to have these building blocks. They're going to be as skills and traits that can be nurtured and developed over time. Doesn't mean that you're going to have all of them working at 100% all the time in your life, but you understand that they can be developed over time. They are not fixed qualities, and individuals can continue to work to strengthen them to enhance their abilities to bounce back from life's challenges. You can continue to develop these traits, these skills, to become more resilient. And when you cultivate these building blocks, you become more resilient. You become more equipped to face the storms of life, and with grace and determination. It's like you have fortifying walls on your house to withstand the strongest winds and ensuring that it remains standing strong even in the face of adversity. I encourage you that you have those building blocks. I'm going to move to the third area where I'm going to say that you need to have a fixed and you and I need to have a powerful mindset. There are two types of mindset. There's the fixed mindset and there's a growth mindset. This is your set of beliefs and attitudes that shape how you perceive and you respond to everything in this world. So the fixed mindset sees the abilities and qualities as static and that they are unchangeable. And many times when you have a fixed mindset, you feel that you have been born with certain talents and limitations and that they are there. That's all you can do. And you can't really do much to change them. They may avoid challenges. You might be avoiding challenges if you have a fixed mindset, and you might view failures as evidence of their limitations. Here's the growth mindset. In contrast, the growth mindset is when you have your abilities and your qualities, but they're malleable, or you're capable of actually growing or changing and developing through effort and learning. People with a growth mindset embrace challenges and believe that they can improve and grow through dedication and perseverance. I will tell you that there is a lot of research on this, that our brains, for example, can be changed, that our brains themselves are adaptable and changeable, meaning that the brain that you have today, or the way that you're thinking and the way that it functions, actually changes over time. And so when we know that, then we can have a more of a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. So the power of having a mindset that is of growth is that every time you run into something, you understand that I can learn from this. And so when you have resilience and you have a growth mindset, you believe that these challenges are opportunities for growth. And not only that, that setbacks are stepping stones rather than roadblocks. You begin by shifting your mindset if you find yourself in a fixed mindset. You recognize that maybe you have been thinking things can never change, but I'm going to encourage you to think about it differently. If things never change, you wouldn't be who you are today. In fact, you have changed. In fact, you've grown. If you were still the same person you were when you were 4 years old, you wouldn't have any growth, but you have grown. And the same thing happens every day for each and every one of us. So I offer a practical exercise for you that if you feel yourself kind of falling into a place where this is the way things are and I feel like they're never going to change, I want you to think about recognizing these areas so that you can begin to look at being in a growth mindset. Ask yourself this: if you find yourself saying, I'm just not good at this, I want you to change it. And I want you to say, I can learn from this experience and improve. If you ever find yourself saying, I don't believe this will ever change, I want you to really sit back and say, I believe that this can change and it can become better. There we see that there's a tie between having a great, powerful growth mindset, and it will help you build those building blocks of resiliency. See, the power of mindset lies in your ability to shape your responses to adversity, because we all are going to have adversity. No matter who we are, there's going to be adversity that's going to come. No matter what your particular status is in life, your position in life, there will be adversity that will come. But if you can focus on being in the growth mindset, you will still see opportunities. You will see learning and opportunities for learning, and that you can see growth. And you will also understand that having a fixed mindset will hinder you, it will limit you, and it will be that same thing that fosters a fear of failure. But if you understand and you embrace this growth mindset, it is a crucial aspect of you building resiliency, that you can be an individual who can bounce back from setbacks, you can adapt to change, and ultimately you're going to thrive in the face of adversity. It's like having the tools to transform obstacles into stepping stones on the path to your personal growth and your resilience. I encourage you that you move forward with a growth mindset. So I'm going to challenge you in this area, that you look at yourself and find out maybe where you have fixed mindsets. You might have fixed mindsets with the relationships you have in your family, or maybe you have a fixed mindset on with your career and what you've been able to do thus far in your life. Or maybe you have a fixed mindset on your relationship with your creator or your God. Or maybe you have a fixed mindset on how you are going to approach things in your finances or with your health. I encourage you to identify those areas. And I'm going to challenge you to make the point to transition from a fixed mindset in all of those areas to a growth mindset. Instead of saying this will never change, I want you to say, what can I learn and how can I grow? What can I learn and how can I grow? And if you record these in the journal, so your resiliency journal, I want you to record these and see how your life begins to change. So at this moment, I'm going to go into the last two items here, building resiliency through adversity. How do you do this? How do you continue to move forward? The first thing you have to do is embrace adversity. Resilience is not only you bouncing back from difficulties, but it's you thriving despite them. I want you to understand that because of adversity, I'm going to embrace the adversities in my life because I know it's because they make me stronger. They have made me wiser. And so as we discuss this concept of adversity, it can be transformative in your life. It can change you. It forces you to adapt, learn, and develop with these coping strategies. I'm reminded of the metaphor of the phoenix. It's rising from the ashes. It illustrates how there can be adversity and it can lead to your personal growth and transformation. Just like this mythical phoenix, which is reborn from its own ashes, you can emerge from adversity stronger and more resilient. Regardless of what you're going through, you can be that rising phoenix. I want you to also begin in this to have self-compassion and self-care during challenging times. Stop beating up on yourself. Stop telling yourself, why did I do this? Why did I get myself in this situation again? Resilient people recognize that it's okay to struggle. It's okay to go through something, but you're going to seek the support of those that are around you and get what you need to make it through. Self-care means that you're going to do some mindfulness exercises, some prayers that will allow you to take the things that you've been saying in a negative way and move into a positive thinking, a growth way. You're going to maintain your physical and your emotional well-being. Don't just give up on doing physical exercise or activity when things get hard. I want you to push through and still do it. I want you to push through when your emotions are, you're feeling anxiety or you're feeling depressed, that I want you to just take a step back and I want you to listen to your breathing. I want you to begin to say, what can I learn in this situation? How can I grow? This will help you to preserve who you are and allow you to continue to build and become stronger and to be more resilient than you've ever been before. Adversities can be extremely difficult, but they are teachers. They're your source of personal growth. And when you embrace these challenges as an individual, you can grow. And it's like muscles. When you have muscles and you're resilient with your muscles, you discover new strength and that you may not have known you had before. And when you work that muscle, you're going to become better. We're going to end today with this last point of cultivating resilience in your daily life. I believe in always having practical application in all we do. And so here are some practical tips that I want you to take with you. I want you to do some of the mindful type exercises through mindfulness and prayer, which means when you're faced with a situation, there's a couple of things you can do. Number one, you could just start counting. I like to say just start counting from 10 all the way down to 1. What that will do is get you out of the situation because you have to focus on the counting and just thinking about the numbers. I also encourage you, if the counting, you don't want to do the counting, you could do breathing. I want you to, breathing is autonomic. We don't usually have to think about it, but if you focus on breathing in that situation where you're having adversity, I want you to just focus on the breath and breathe in deeply. And then I want you to breathe out. And I want you to focus on that for a while. And that'll bring you back to this present moment. Additionally, I want you to have some positive affirmations. I utilize scriptures. I utilize different sayings that I know that help me to be strong. And I want you to do the same thing, is put yourself in a space where you have positive affirmations. And then I want you to seek out social support. If you're having adversity, find someone you can speak to. Find someone that you can trust, that you can speak to. Many times we may have been really picking on the wrong people to confide in. And I want you to confide in someone that's going to be able to listen to you and not judge you. And that they are going to encourage you. And they're not going to try to just give you advice based on their life, but that they're going to give you sound advice to help you become more resilient on this path that you can grow out of this adversity. I want you to look at these things on a daily basis. And then additionally, I want you to continue your self-care. And I want you to set some realistic goals in your life and expectations, because having some realistic goals and expectations will help you focus on positive things that help you, give you a sense of achievement. And when I say set goals, I'm just saying that you're going to have little things that you're going to do. And I want you to celebrate those things every single day. And if you do that, I think that'll be very, very helpful. Also, I want you to continue to do daily activities and habits, practices that support your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual well-being. These practices will help you navigate some of these challenges and be more effective in maintaining your resilience over the long term. Just as physical exercise keeps the body healthy, these resilience building practices keep the mind and spirit resilient. And if you continue to do this, you will be empowered to be resilient. Hey, look, that ends this particular episode. Our key takeaways this episode is, number one, remember that resilience is your superpower. And I want you to remember that you have it within you. It is there already. Number two, that you have building blocks of resilience with optimism, adaptability, self-belief, and a support system. And if you keep developing and nurturing those, you're going to be more resilient. You have the power of mindset. Make sure you're focused on being and having a growth mindset, not why am I here, or why did this happen, but how can I grow from this? And then I want you to know that adversity, you are embracing adversity, and it's a catalyst for you to grow and for you to be more resilient. And lastly, I want you to take those practical steps to being more resilient on a consistent basis. And don't forget, take that practical journal, that journal that we talked about, the resilience journal, and I want you over the next 30 days or more to continue to write in there all of the adversities that you have and how you have overcome those different adversities showing your resilience. I'm so excited about what is going to happen through this episode where we talked about the superpower of your life, the superpower of thriving through life's storms, your superpower for thriving through life's storms. I enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to seeing you next time. As we bring this illuminating episode to a close, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to you, my cherished listeners. Your presence and engagement enrich this podcast journey. I am truly honored to be a part of your growth and transformation. But to ensure you never miss an episode filled with these great insights and inspiration, hit that subscribe button on this whatever favorite podcast platform that you're on. And if you found today's discussion valuable, I kindly ask that you would leave a review. Your feedback fuels my passion to continue to deliver content that resonates. Sharing is caring, right? And I invite you to share this episode with your friends and your family. Let's create a ripple effect of healing and empowerment together. Unlock those secrets to unleash your true potential, aligning your life's purpose and embracing the power of authenticity. This audiobook is your roadmap to stepping into a future filled with meaning and fulfillment. Go visit randyatkinsjr.com today to get your audiobook and your book of the Produce on Purpose Experience Life Being the Real You, written by me, Randy Atkins Jr. I thrive on your input, so if you have thoughts to share, or if you want to dive a little deeper into your transformative topics, visit Randy Atkins Jr. and leave me some of your feedback. Just hit that contact us on the website. And your words are just power. It's going to help shape some of the future content of our podcast. Thank you for being an integral part of this podcast family. And until next time, remember that every step that you take towards being the real you is a step towards unlocking your boundless potential. Stay tuned, stay inspired, and above all, today, produce on purpose and be the real you.